It began like any other Friday evening, or so I believed. Natalie, my wife, was getting ready for what she called a work dinner. She'd been in front of the mirror for nearly an hour, perfecting every strand of hair, touching up her makeup, and slipping into a dress that looked far too elegant for anything related to the office. I lingered in the doorway, quietly observing her reflection. She looked beautiful, radiant even, but there was something distant about her, a kind of emotional detachment that made my chest tighten. It didn't feel like she was preparing for a business event. It felt personal, almost secretive. When she finally slid on her heels, I asked softly, "So, work dinner?" Without meeting my eyes, she smiled faintly. "Yeah, babe. Don't wait up for me. I'll be late." Her tone was too smooth, too prepared, the kind of response people rehearse when they don't want to be questioned. Normally, I'd have shrugged it off, but that night something in her eyes betrayed her calm. There was guilt there, faint but unmistakable. For weeks, she'd been different, distant, glued to her phone, hiding smiles behind quick screen locks. I had told myself not to overthink, that I was imagining things. But as she reached for the door, a part of me snapped. I forced a smile. "Take your time," I said evenly. "I've got company coming over too." Her hand froze on the doorknob. She turned, confusion flashing across her face. "Company?" "Yeah," I said, pretending to sound casual. "You're not the only one with plans tonight." She hesitated, searching my face, then forced a shaky laugh. "Right. Well, have fun." But her voice trembled. When the door shut behind her, silence flooded the house. I didn't actually have anyone coming over. I only wanted to see how she'd react, and that reaction told me more than words ever could. Within minutes, my phone started to buzz. Once, then again, then continuously. Natalie. I ignored the first few calls, letting them ring out. Then came the texts. "Who's there? What guests? Are you serious right now?" I smirked to myself. Barely 3 minutes had passed since she left, and already she was unraveling. Then came a message in all caps. "I'm coming home." I expected panic, but not this quickly. I'd been waiting for this. For the moment her calm facade would finally crack. By the time she returned, I was sitting on the couch with a glass of whiskey, soft music humming in the background. I heard her key struggle in the lock before the door burst open. She stood there breathless, wide-eyed, scanning the room like someone expecting to find evidence of betrayal. "Where are they?" she demanded. "Who's here?" I looked up lazily. "Who's who, Natalie?" Her eyes darted around, the empty glasses, the slightly open balcony door, searching for ghosts. "You said you had guests?" she snapped. I took another sip and shrugged. "And you said you'd be back late." "Looks like we both lied tonight." The color drained from her face. She tried to steady her voice, but it quivered when she said, "That wasn't fair." I let out a low chuckle. "Neither is pretending you're at a work dinner when you're actually meeting someone at the Grove Hotel." Her eyes went wide. "How did you—" I leaned forward, resting my elbows on my knees. "You've been off for months." I didn't need a private investigator. The location app on your phone was enough. She froze, lips parting without sound. The only noise between us was the soft hum of the music and her uneven breathing. Tears began to build in her eyes. "It's not what you think," she whispered, her voice breaking. "It was just dinner." "I swear." I tilted my head. "Then why did you rush home the second I mentioned guests?" She tried to speak, but her words tangled and died in her throat. She didn't need to confess. The truth was already written across her face. That nervous laugh earlier, the flicker of guilt in her eyes, it was all the evidence I needed. I stood, walked past her, and grabbed the overnight bag I'd packed in advance. "Where are you going?" she cried softly. I paused by the doorway. "You told me not to wait," I said quietly. "I'm just doing what you asked." "Jake, please," she sobbed. "I made a mistake. I can fix this." I looked at her one last time, her tears catching the light, and whispered, "You can't fix something you never valued." Then I stepped out, leaving her surrounded by the same silence she'd left me in for months. Days passed. She called nonstop, voicemails filled with apologies and desperate promises, but I never answered. I didn't block her either. I wanted her to feel what I had felt, ignored, invisible, and uncertain. It wasn't revenge. It was closure, the kind she never thought I'd find. Weeks later, mutual friends told me she finally confessed. She admitted to meeting a colleague for drinks, insisting it wasn't cheating because nothing physical happened. But betrayal doesn't always begin with touch. Sometimes it begins with the first lie you tell too easily and the trust you take too lightly. Now, whenever someone asks why our marriage ended, I smile faintly and say, "She told me not to wait up." I told her not to rush, because in that simple exchange, I found everything I needed to finally let go.